Professor has been secretly docking points anytime he sees someone's phone out. Dozens of us are now at risk of failing just because we kept our phones on our desk, and I might lose a job I have lined up for when I graduate. My professor recently revealed that he's been docking points anytime he sees anyone with their cell phone out during the lecture, even if it's just lying on their desk and they're not using it. He's docked more than 20 points from me alone, and I don't even text during lectures. I just keep my phone, face down, on my desk out of habit. It's late in the semester and I'm at risk of failing this class, having to pay thousands of dollars I can't afford for another semester, and lose a job I have lined up for when I graduate. I talked to him and he just smiled and referred me to a single sentence buried in the 5-page syllabus that says cell phones should not be visible during lectures. He's never called attention to it, or said anything about the rule. He looked so smug, like he'd just won a court case instead of just screwing a random struggling college kid with a contrived loophole. So far I've 1. Tried speaking to the professor. 2. Tried submitting complaint through my school's grade appeal system. It was denied without explanation. There doesn't seem to be a way to appeal. And 3. Tried speaking with a department head, but he didn't seem to care, literally just said that's why it's important to read the syllabus. I feel like I'm out of options, and I don't know what to do. Update. April 26, 2025. I couldn't believe how much my original post blew up, and I implemented much of the advice I got. Now I'm at a crossroads. After I read everyone's feedback, I emailed the dean and the school newspaper. No response. I know that at least 2 other students in my class tried emailing the dean as well, without any luck. But I ran the math, and I'm guaranteed to fail the class if the deductions stand. I have nothing to lose. So I wrote a petition. No one has taken this seriously coming from us individually, so I think it's important to show that it's not just a couple disgruntled college kids whining about a bad grade. My plan, if I can get signatures, is to send the petition to the dean and school newspaper. I hit a small snag when I reached out to 5 classmates that I trust about signing the petition to get the ball rolling. They all thought it was a great idea, but didn't feel comfortable being the first people to sign. So to get around that, someone in the last thread suggested using a website, petition.com, that lets me make it so that signatures start out anonymous, but then you anonymize when enough other people sign. That way no one has to be the first person to sign. But here's where I hit a major snag yesterday. As I was getting ready to send petition out, my professor sent us all an email attaching an amended syllabus. The amended syllabus is exactly the same except now as a paragraph which says, all grade disputes must be raised exclusively through grade appeal system. Any attempt to dispute a grade through alternative channels, including but not limited to direct outreach to faculty other than professor's name, will result in an automatic failing final grade of 0%, without exception. Well, I thought that was the end of it. No one would be interested in signing after that. Surprisingly, 3 of the people I spoke with independently messaged me asking if I was still going through with the petition, and promised that they would sign if I did. They are pissed. They think this new policy is retaliatory. And then 3 other people I hadn't even talked to about this reached out and said they heard that I was planning to send petition and would sign if I sent it. They think a bunch of others would too. They wouldn't tell me who they heard about the petition from, but the cats are out of the bag now. I'm not sure exactly how many others have had their grade docked because of the phone policy, but from asking around it seems like at least half the class had some kind of deduction. Now I have to decide how to proceed in light of the update to the syllabus. I'm considering going through with a petition, but having the app make it fully anonymous so we have some plausible deniability. The final result would only say that out of the 50 people in the class signed, but not who. Relevant comment chain. Commentator 1. Okay, so I've been teaching in higher ed for about 10 years now, and it seems to me like this professor's trying to get out of actually doing his job. It's unethical as hell to be playing with people's lives and docking points without having been upfront about it. That's just not the kind of thing I would ever do. But the biggest red flag for me is that we're basically at the end of the semester, which means is anticipating a bunch of people trying to dispute the grades at once. If he can give a bunch of you a failing grade because of a policy like this, he doesn't have to sit down and actually do much grading then. That's the impression I'm getting, but I do also want to tell you that I didn't see this as whining. GPAs can really affect your ability to engage in some forms of professional development. I got a bad grade in one class during my undergrad, and my GPA never recovered. I had to explain why my GPA was under 3.0 when I applied to grad school because of it, so I have always taken grading really seriously. I'm sorry this jerk hasn't. Commentator 2, OP has gotten dragged in every other sub they posted in, so I'm glad another person in higher ed agrees with him. I've been teaching in higher ed for about 10 years and been adjuncting or student teaching since 2006. In my experience, a policy like this absolutely would not fly, especially considering how vague the penalties were. Hell, we've been told not to even restrict technology in our classes because so many students have accommodation for note-taking software, recording lectures, etc. Allowing a student to use their accommodations while no one else has them essentially outs them as having accommodations. This new policy the professor is trying to implement is clearly retaliatory. I've seen professors disciplined over crap like this too. He's trying to make the students too afraid to question him, and it's a complete abuse of his authority. OP, thanks for this. LOL. I was surprised by how rule and punishment oriented the college subs are.